Hi people, Moin away from Bakir again as always, and as usual. Yeah, as you can tell, as always and as usual, I'm going to briefly do a short video on the Tower of Babel and the spiritual overall explanation for why people in the world, such as countries and civilizations, speak different languages. The whole thing about the Tower of Babel is mentioned in several religious books. But I'm going to use the Bible because I have a copy of the Bible here on me. Now, it's in Genesis 11, and I recite, "And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly, or truly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth." Yeah, and that's essentially it. Now, you can find the wiki entry linked in the description of this video. Now, I'm gonna be straightforward the way I am by default. A mistake that people make, common mistake, especially the average person, because they're bluntly put too stupid and too ignorant and whatnot, and vice versa to know otherwise, is that the majority of, for example, stories like these and things that can be found in religious scripture are purely spiritual in nature. At the very least, the majority of things and events of such a nature, the likes of which are mentioned in the Bible or any religious scripture from mainstream religion that hints at the same thing or the same concept, is spiritual in nature. It's not meant to be taken physically. So in this case, the Tower of Babel essentially explains why people in the world, why countries, civilizations throughout time speak different languages, why all of us on this earth, we speak a different language compared to our counterparts, obviously. Now, the Tower of Babel isn't literally a physical event. To my knowledge and understanding, there was no literal Tower of Babel as in, oh, okay, people came together, a civilization, they built a literal tower, like, oh, we're going to erect a tower. No. It is a metaphor and or an allegory for human hubris, okay, Hubris, as in human arrogance. So, based on what is written there in Genesis, at some point in time, mankind became so full of themselves to the point where they said, okay, look at how strong we are, we're all unified, and we all speak the same language, we're one. Now, let's strive and aspire towards reaching God and arguably being better than Him. Let's just put it that way. And of course, again, excluding the fact that Father orchestrates all of this, like literally all of this, everything is predestined. Everything is just plain destined. Everything is orchestrated by Father. If you exclude this and you look at it from a mundane perspective, or taking that fact, excluding that fact, taking it and excluding it, if you look at it, then essentially it's God's punishment. God essentially said, okay, look, see, people are unified, I made them unified, they speak one language, they're all gathered together, they're all a collective one, they're a collective oneness, if you will, and this is what they try to do. Okay, this is what I give them, and they just try to metaphorically topple me or similar. They disrespect me, plain and simply. And yeah, the result speaks for itself. And God essentially said, oh, okay, so this is what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to make all of you speak different languages so that you understand shit of Guy A is not going to understand shit of what Guy B is saying, and Guy B is not going to understand a crapola of what C is saying, and C isn't going to understand anything else that D is saying, and it just goes on. And I'm going to scatter you guys throughout the world so that you live in your own personal sections and the world is not divided. End of story. That's your punishment for trying to metaphorically defy me within this context. And that's it. But it's purely spiritual. There was no literal event that, oh, a tower, and no. That is at best highly unlikely. At the very least, it's highly improbable. And let me see, what else did I have to say? And yeah, that's essentially it. That's how people speak different languages, and that's how the world essentially linguistically came into being and came into existence, as well as, if I recall correctly, people from different backgrounds. Arguably ethnicities and related, but I'm not entirely sure. But in any case, that is how things work. That's all, guys. Bye.